Yin looked sympathetically at Yuna, who was now fast asleep in the guest room of her apartment. Yuna, Yin's best friend, was forced to become a young mother without a husband. Yin let out a soft sigh. She never expected Yuna's fate to turn out like this. Yuna, who was beautiful, cheerful, and always smiling, had to lose everything after getting involved with a jerk who got her pregnant. Yuna used to have a boyfriend. Being naive, she was easily taken advantage of by him and willingly gave up her virginity. Their relationship was never approved by Yuna's parents or her older brother. Jungkook, Yuna's older brother, had known all along that her ex-boyfriend was bad news. In fact, Yuna's ex was an enemy of their family's mafia connections. Yuna's parents kicked her out when she refused to end her relationship with Yugyeom, but blinded by love, she still chose Yugyeom and lived with him for a few months. Eventually, Yuna got pregnant, and Yugyeom refused to take responsibility. Worse, Yugyeom cheated on her behind her back. Yuna finally left him, but she was too afraid to go home. That's why she's been staying in Yin's apartment until now. With her parents far away in Bizen and living alone in Seoul, Yin didn't mind at all. She genuinely felt sorry for her best friend. "Good morning, Yuna," Yin greeted as Yuna stepped out of the room with Yuri in her arms. "Good morning, Yin. I'm sorry I woke up late. You even went through the trouble of preparing breakfast," Yuna said with an apologetic smile. She felt bad. She was already imposing, and now she was being a burden. Yin waved her hand dismissively. "It's nothing. Come, have a seat." She placed the last bowl of corn soup on the table. "A nursing mother needs to eat a lot," Yin chuckled. Yuna smiled, grateful for Yin's help. Yin was her best friend. Ever since Yuna found out she was pregnant, she had decided to drop out of college. A faint, wistful smile appeared on her face. If only she had protected herself, she might be working on her final project now and graduating from the prestigious university. "Have you finished your thesis?" Yuna asked after placing Yuri in the baby chair. The 4-month-old baby squirmed and couldn't sit still. Yuna chuckled. "Just a moment, sweetheart. Mommy will eat first. I'll carry you again after this," as if she understood. Yuri bobbed her head a little and calmed down. Yin laughed. Yuri's presence had brought a unique kind of joy to her apartment. Yin loved kids. She didn't mind, even when Yuri cried in the middle of the night. "Almost done. I'm on chapter 4 now," Yin replied to Yuna's question. Yuna gave a small smile. "You're truly an outstanding student. No wonder you're the professor's favorite," she praised. Yin smiled back, though she noticed a hint of sadness in Yuna's voice. She understood. They used to dream of graduating together and starting a boutique. Both she and Yuna had majored in fashion design. "Do you regret it?" Yuna looked at Yin. "Should I regret having Yuri?" she asked rhetorically. "Yuri is the greatest blessing in my life. She's the little angel God sent to me." Yuna looked lovingly at Yuri, who was now yawning. "At first, I did regret it. My pregnancy crushed all my hopes and dreams. But after thinking it through, I've made peace with my fate now. I have to be grateful." Her words touched Yin deeply. Her best friend had grown more mature in facing life. Yuna was no longer the spoiled girl she used to be. Now, she was a mother with a huge responsibility for Yuri. "But honestly, sometimes I still miss college. I still hold on to the dream we once shared," Yuna added. Yin smiled. "We can still make that dream come true. After I graduate, we can work together to start our boutique." A sweet smile appeared on Yuna's lips. "I'm really looking forward to that." Yin nodded. She felt a sense of relief, knowing Yuna was no longer drowning in sadness. She had come to accept her reality. "Yin, do you think I'll be able to stay by Yuri's side until she grows up?" The sudden question made Yin look up. "Of course, you're a great mom. I'm sure you'll be there to support her in reaching her dreams." Yuna picked up Yuri, who was starting to get sleepy. In her arms, the baby shifted around to find a comfortable position. Not long after, the little girl fell asleep. "Yin, can I ask you something?" "What is it?" "If one day I can't be there for Yuri, will you take care of her?" Yuna asked. "You're the only person I trust," she continued before Yin could respond. "I don't have the courage to face my family anymore. I hope one day you can introduce your family to Yuri." Her voice began to tremble. "I want Yuri to feel the complete love I can't give her right now." Yin froze. Yuna's words hit her like a punch to the gut. She was speechless. For some reason, fear crept into her heart. She immediately pulled her friend into a hug. "Don't think like that, Yuna. You'll be just fine. You still have me by your side. We'll raise Yuri together." But something heartbreaking and tragic happened months later. Yin stared blankly at the still wet mound of earth. Her tears had long dried after crying all night over the loss of her best friend. Her heart felt empty. The world seemed to stop spinning the moment the news came. Yuna, the friend she had considered a sister, was pronounced dead after a tragic accident, an accident that was anything but ordinary. The police may have labeled it a traffic accident, but Yin knew something was off. Eventually, Yin forced herself to meet Yuna's family and explain everything that had happened. Of course, they were in shock, but the damage was done. Regret meant nothing now. Yuna was already gone. Jungkook immediately took action to investigate the case. His suspicions were right. His sister hadn't died in a regular accident. Her car had been deliberately rammed by someone who wanted her dead. That person was Yugyeom. The scumbag who had ruined Yuna's life was now the cause of her death. Feeling threatened by Yuna, Yugyeom chose the coward's way. He erased her from the world. But his escape didn't last long. Jungkook, now consumed by rage and revenge, tracked down Yugyeom's hiding place through his family's underground network. And in that moment, in a secluded place far from human justice, Jungkook took Yugyeom's life with his own hands. A revenge that tasted bitter and brought no one back, but at least gave his sister a sliver of justice. Yin held Yuri tightly. The little baby slept peacefully in her arms, unaware that the world she was growing up in had just lost the most precious person in her life, her mother. "I'm sorry, Yuna," Yin whispered, her voice trembling. "I couldn't protect you, but I promise I'll protect Yuri, just like you asked me to." Tears welled up in her eyes again, this time not from despair, but from a promise, from determination. Yuna may have only been with Yuri for 6 months, but Yin would be the one to continue the journey. She would be the protector, the second mother, the shelter Yuri needed in this harsh world. Gently, Yin looked down at Yuri, who was sleeping so peacefully. "You're not alone, Yuri. You still have me, and I'll love you the way your mom did. Let us be the ones to protect Yuri." The voice startled Yin. She had forgotten that Yuna's parents and older brother were still there. Yin stood face to face with Jungkook. A flicker of disappointment rose in her heart as she recalled how this man hadn't tried hard enough to persuade Yuna to return home. Back then, Yuna still needed the support and love of her family. She had only been too ashamed to face them. If only Jungkook and their parents had tried a little harder to reach out, maybe Yuna would have gone back. "Yuna entrusted Yuri to me," Yin replied flatly. "She trusted me to take care of Yuri, and I don't intend to break that promise." Besides, Yin had already graduated from college. She no longer had to worry about her thesis. Her focus now was on starting her boutique, and she was confident she could do it, even with Yuri by her side. "But you're still young, Yin." This time it was Jia who spoke. Of course, she was devastated by her daughter's death. She deeply regretted the harsh words she had once said to Yuna. "Auntie, I may be young, but I can learn. I can even hire a babysitter to help with Yuri," Yin replied, her expression confident and resolute. Jia and Jungwoo exchanged glances. Looking at Yin was like seeing their daughter again. They had the same stubborn spirit. Jungkook let out a slow breath. Despite all the anger and disappointment he once felt toward Yuna, she was still his beloved little sister. In truth, Jungkook had been keeping an eye on her from afar all this time. Their parents still cared too, but they had thought Yuna needed to learn a lesson, especially when she had started to rebel and stopped listening. "In that case, please allow us to visit Yuri often. She's still a part of our family," Jungwoo finally said, because no matter what, Yuri was still their grandchild. Yin nodded. "My apartment is always open to all of you. I'm sure Yuri will be happy to be visited by her family." After Yuna passed away, Jungkook and his parents frequently visited Yin's apartment. Yin was glad to see how deeply they cared for Yuri. Often, either after finishing work or before heading to the office, Jungkook would stop by just to see how his niece was doing, or to bring over some food. One Sunday, Yin sat comfortably with Yuri on her lap. Since it was Sunday, the babysitter had the day off. Patiently, Yin read a storybook she had recently bought. To her surprise, Yuri seemed to love books. The little baby responded excitedly every time Yin told her a story. Occasionally, her eyes would widen, and her mouth would move as if trying to babble. The colorful pictures in the book clearly delighted her. "Mom, me." Yin was stunned. She looked down and saw Yuri's round eyes gazing up at her, full of curiosity. "Mommy." Yuri said it again. Yin's eyes welled up. She lowered her head as the little hand reached out to her. Her heart swelled with emotion. It was the first time Yuri had spoken a clear word, and the first word she chose was "mommy," directed at her. "Yes, sweetheart, I'm mommy," Yin whispered through a trembling smile. "I'm your mommy, Mommy Yin, and I promise to be the best mommy I can for you." As if understanding her, Yuri gently stroked Yin's cheek and let out a soft, sweet giggle. Yin laughed with her, tears still brimming. Her heart was full. From that moment on, she would treat Yuri as her own daughter. She would love her with all her heart. Yin. The voice startled her. She had forgotten. Jungkook had been in the apartment all morning. While she was reading to Yuri, Jungkook had been busy in the kitchen making coffee. Jungkook. Yin looked up, quickly wiping her tears. "Why are you crying?" he asked worriedly, sitting beside her. Yin shook her head with a small laugh. "It's nothing. Yuri just said something amazing, and I got so happy I ended up crying." "Oh really? What did she say?" Jungkook asked, intrigued. He leaned closer to Yuri, whose bright eyes sparkled as she looked up at him. "She just said." "Mommy," Yuri interrupted, pointing her tiny finger at Yin. Jungkook froze at Yuri's words. His eyes widened, as if he couldn't believe what had just come out of his niece's mouth. "Mommy," he murmured softly, glancing at Yin, who now looked down with blushing cheeks, still overwhelmed with emotion. But before the tender moment could settle, Yuri opened her mouth again. "Dad, D." Both Yin and Jungkook's eyes widened in shock. Yin instinctively turned to Jungkook, who was now frozen, as if his heart had just leapt out of his chest. "Yuri, did she just?" Jungkook whispered, pointing at himself. "She said Daddy," Yin echoed quietly, just as surprised. Her cheeks flushed deeper while Yuri giggled, clearly amused by the adult's dramatic reactions. Jungkook remained silent for a moment, then a small, hesitant smile formed on his lips, but it was a smile laced with awkwardness. His hand lifted slightly, as if to stroke Yuri's head, but stopped midair. Could it be she's just copying someone? Or… Yin quickly cut in, trying to ease the tension. "Maybe because she always sees you coming over and hugging her, she thinks you're her daddy?" Jungkook finished her sentence quietly. His gaze softened as he looked at Yuri. For some reason, even though he had never imagined it, hearing that word from the baby's mouth stirred something deep inside him. Yuri, blissfully unaware of how flustered the two adults were, grabbed Jungkook's hand and chirped again, "Daddy." Jungkook chuckled softly, then looked at Yin, who was still frozen in place. "Are you sure you didn't secretly teach her that?" he teased lightly, trying to lighten the mood. Yin quickly shook her head. "I didn't even know she could speak that clearly today," she defended. "Maybe she just picked it up from one of the videos she watched or a story I told her," she added. Silence fell for a moment. Only Yuri's soft laughter filled the air. Finally, Jungkook gently stroked Yuri's head and murmured, "If calling me that makes her feel complete, I don't mind." Yin looked at him, this time, not out of awkwardness, but touched by the sincerity in his voice. Amid the warmth and confusion, a quiet feeling began to grow between them. "You don't mind?" Yin asked cautiously, needing to be sure. "Why should I mind?" Jungkook replied calmly. "She's my niece. Yuna is gone, and I share the responsibility for Yuri's happiness. As long as she's happy, I'm happy too." Yin giggled softly, occasionally pressing kisses to Yuri's chubby cheeks and nose. Yuri squealed with joy, kicking her little feet excitedly. Jungkook simply watched them both, switching his gaze between Yin and Yuri, a gentle look in his eyes, a subtle smile still lingering on his lips. For some reason, he was truly enjoying this moment. Yin had just changed Yuri into her long-sleeved pajamas. Before the little baby could start fussing, Yin gave her a bottle of milk she had prepared earlier. The little girl instantly calmed down, looking absolutely adorable in Yin's eyes. Yuri was growing up well. In addition to drinking milk, she had also started eating baby food. She was becoming a beautiful and cute baby. Not long after, Yuri's little eyes began to close. It was indeed her bedtime. The doorbell rang. Yin smiled. "Looks like your daddy's here." She chuckled to herself and quickly made her way to the door. "Has Yuri eaten?" Jungkook asked as soon as the apartment door opened. He was holding 2 large grocery bags filled with food supplies for Yin and Yuri. "She has. She's already asleep," she answered softly. "You went shopping?" Yin asked, following Jungkook to the kitchen. I bought a bunch of groceries for Yuri," Jungkook replied. The little baby was quite picky when it came to food. She didn't really like instant baby food, so every day, Yin had to prepare baby meals from scratch. But it wasn't too much trouble, since the babysitter came in at 8 a.m. and left at 5 p.m. "Why didn't you take me with you?" Yin pouted. Jungkook chuckled, his hands pausing from arranging the groceries. "It's already late. I knew you'd be busy taking care of Yuri. Besides, I just went somewhere nearby," Jungkook replied calmly. "Next time, if you want to shop, I'll take you." Yin pouted her lips, helping him sort the groceries. Well, I actually wanted to go shopping, she admitted sheepishly. Since having Yuri, it was hard for her to go anywhere unless she was with Jungkook or Jia. I figured, Jungkook said, playfully tweaking her nose. Then he placed 2 takeout boxes from Yin's favorite restaurant on the table. Let's eat. Yin's eyes sparkled. Her stomach had been rumbling. Finally, they began dinner in a warm and cozy atmosphere. As usual, every Sunday, Jungkook would spend the entire day at Yin's apartment. Sunday was the only day he could stay from morning until night. On other days, he would usually come by in the evening after work, and most of the time, Yuri would already be asleep. Yuri was eating with such enthusiasm. Yin couldn't help but be amazed, watching how cheerful Yuri became when Jungkook fed her. When it was just the 2 of them, Yuri would barely eat. The little baby was sometimes difficult to feed, but whenever Jungkook was around, Yuri would transform into the most obedient and adorable baby. Yin chuckled quietly. Even a baby knew how to appreciate a handsome man. Jungkook was a mature man, now 27 years old, 5 years older than Yin. She laughed again when Yuri's tiny hand smeared food on Jungkook's face. What is it? Jungkook asked, confused, still unaware. Without answering, Yin took a tissue and wiped the food off his cheek. Messy, she teased playfully. Must be Yuri's fault. Jungkook smiled, completely unbothered. He even placed a sweet kiss on the chubby baby's cheek. Yin smiled warmly. Her heart fluttered with unfamiliar emotions. She found herself imagining a happy little family. Was it okay to feel that way? I never thought someone like you could be this sweet with a baby, Yin said. Jungkook set the small plate on the table. He had finished feeding Yuri. Someone like me? What's that supposed to mean? He asked, handing Yuri a sippy cup. Well, someone like you, Yin replied casually. You're known for being cold and ruthless. You rarely smile and always have that serious expression. Her words caught Jungkook's attention. He liked the way she spoke, so expressive. He would never get bored listening to her talk. I even heard you often yell at your staff. You're quick to fire employees even for the smallest mistakes. Yin knew a lot about Jungkook because back when Yuna was alive, she often shared stories about her family. Jungkook chuckled, still watching Yin as she spoke with such passion. Wow, you sure know a lot about me, he joked lightly. But why is it only the bad stuff? Maybe because your bad side is more dominant. Yin teased him again. Yin let out a small yelp when Jungkook flicked her forehead. I have plenty of good sides too, he defended. You've seen for yourself. I've never treated you or Yuri badly. That means I'm a kind person, he said it proudly. At work, I have to be strict. Things wouldn't run smoothly if I weren't firm with them. Yin blinked, heart pounding as Jungkook kept his gaze on her. For a moment, they looked into each other's eyes in silence until Yuri's voice broke the moment. Mommy. Daddy. Both Jungkook and Yin turned their heads in sync. The adorable baby yawned, her eyes watery with sleep. Yin chuckled, quickly picking Yuri up. Sleepy, sweetheart? Ready for your nap? She cooed while gently patting Yuri's bottom. That usually helped Yuri fall asleep quickly. Let's go nap now. Daddy and Mommy are right here, Yin whispered before humming a soft lullaby. She glanced at Jungkook, and Yuri had saved her from the awkward moment. I'll put her to sleep now, she said. Jungkook nodded with a soft smile, his eyes following Yin's back as she walked into the bedroom, his expression unreadable. Today, Yin left Yuri temporarily at Jia and Jungwa's mansion. She planned to survey some locations for opening her boutique. Fortunately, both her parents and Yuna's parents fully supported her. Even Jungkook cleared his work schedule today just to accompany her. Jungkook, I told you I can do this on my own, Yin said for the umpteenth time. You didn't have to skip work for me today. Jungkook glanced at Yin, sitting beside him in the passenger seat. The beautiful girl had her arms crossed and her lips pouting. It's fine. There wasn't anything urgent anyway, he replied calmly, because to him, Yin was more important than anything else. I asked Kai to handle things for now. He's a very reliable assistant. But I feel bad. I must be bothering you. You're not bothering me, Yin. Jungkook cut her off firmly. Don't ever say that again. His cold tone made Yin go quiet instantly. Now she understood why so many people were intimidated by him. Okay, she mumbled. Hearing her soft voice, Jungkook turned his head. Yin looked nervous. He cleared his throat, trying to soften his voice. I'm not mad at you, he said more gently. I just don't like it when you say things like that, especially over and over again. You're not a burden, Yin. This time, Yin only nodded, but her expression relaxed a little after hearing his calmer voice. I should be the one thanking you, Jungkook continued, for being there for Yuna during her hard times. You've also, whether you realize it or not, become a second mother to Yuri. I'm really grateful to you. Yin smiled wistfully. Her heart ached as she remembered her late best friend. Yuna was my best friend. It was only right for me to help her, and I really do love Yuri. I already see her as my own child. Yuna was lucky to have such a sincere friend, Jungkook said with a playful grin. And Yuri's lucky to have such a beautiful mom like you, he teased, making Yin blush shyly. They had spent the entire day surveying boutique locations. Out of the 5 places Yin visited, she eventually chose a brand new shop lot located right in the heart of the city. The location was perfect, surrounded by tall buildings and in the middle of a bustling shopping district. At first, Yin was hesitant. Renting a space in such a prime location would be incredibly expensive, not to mention the operational costs. She didn't have enough funds yet. Even though her parents could afford it, she felt uncomfortable asking them for that much capital. But suddenly, Jungkook had already bought the place directly from the owner, without asking for Yin's approval. They argued for a while, but after all his persuasion and stubbornness, Yin finally gave in. Because of that, her expression remained sour the entire ride home. She felt indebted to Jungkook. Once again, she was troubling him. Come on, Yin, how long are you going to stay mad at me? Jungkook asked in a pleading tone, though his eyes stayed focused on the road. Yin let out a slow sigh. Seeing Jungkook's pleading expression, she felt guilty. She felt like an ungrateful person for giving the silent treatment to someone who had helped her so much. I'll pay you back once my boutique becomes successful. Jungkook clicked his tongue in disapproval at her words and immediately pulled over to a quieter part of the road. It seemed like he really needed to talk about this seriously with her. You don't have to. I gave it to you as support for your business. You don't need to pay me back, he said firmly once the car came to a complete stop. But you went overboard, Jungkook. Nothing is overboard when it comes to you. Jungkook looked at her with soft eyes. So please, accept what I gave you. You don't need to feel bad about it. Hearing that gentle yet firm tone, Yin couldn't help but smile. Her heart still felt uneasy, but Jungkook was still Jungkook, impossible to argue with. You've always helped me. I don't know how to thank you properly. Just seeing your boutique succeed is more than enough for me. Jungkook's soft smile was contagious. Slowly, Yin's lips curved into a smile as well. Why are you being so kind to me? She asked. She had wanted to ask this for a long time. Jungkook had been so kind to her. Ever since she started taking care of Yuri, he had always been there, helping and making time for her despite his incredibly busy schedule. Because I want to make you smile, he said, gazing deeply into her eyes. Those beautiful eyes were Jungkook's favorite. He could spend forever staring into them. I want to be someone you can always count on. Yin was stunned. Jungkook's words and gaze left her speechless. Her heart pounded rapidly. But why? She whispered. That intense gaze softened even more. At that moment, Yin could feel like she was the only one reflected in his eyes. Because I care about you, Yin. I love you. Yin remained silent. Her hands turned cold, eyes widening. She struggled to calm her wildly beating heart. Is that feeling out of gratitude because I took care of Yuri? She truly needed clarity. Of course not, Jungkook answered without hesitation. I fell for you, not because you took care of Yuri, and not out of gratitude for Yuna. He paused for a moment. Then he gently took Yin's hand from her lap and held it tightly in his. I don't know exactly when it started. Maybe it's because of how close we've become. The feelings just grew naturally. But one thing I'm sure of, it's real. Why me? Yin asked, still finding it hard to believe. I know there are plenty of women out there who like you. So why me? Because I only want you. I don't want anyone else, Jungkook said firmly. You may not realize it, but you're the kind of girl who's so easy to fall for. You're kind, you're sincere. Out of all the women who tried to get close to me, none of them made my heart race the way it does when I'm with you. Yin's eyes began to tear up. All this time, she had secretly harbored deeper feelings for him, but she kept suppressing them, afraid to hope too much and end up getting hurt. She was touched, her heart overflowing with emotion because the love she had been hiding all this time was finally returned, and without realizing it, a tear slipped down her cheek. She quickly wiped it away. Yin, why are you crying? Jungkook asked in a panic. His fingers gently wiped the remaining tear from her cheek. I'm sorry. Maybe this is too soon. I'm not forcing you to return my feelings. I just wanted to be honest with you. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I love you too, Jungkook. Yin's words halted his movements. His body froze. Yin, what did you say? He asked in disbelief. Yin let out a soft chuckle, gently holding Jungkook's hand that was still resting on her cheek. I said I love you too, she repeated. I'm so happy my feelings are returned. I really thought I'd end up loving you alone. Still chuckling, Yin kissed Jungkook's hand lightly, the one she was still holding close to her face. I'm beyond relieved. Thank you for loving me. When he finally snapped back to reality, Jungkook blinked rapidly. No, I'm the one who should be thanking you. I'm so happy. He was so overwhelmed with joy that he struggled to find the right words, making Yin laugh softly. Yin, I want to be a dad to Yuri too. You already are Yuri's dad. Jungkook shook his head. Not yet. You're Yuri's second mom, while I'm just someone she happens to call dad. And Yin asked, their fingers still intertwined. If her guess was right, then Jungkook was about to. I want to marry you. Yin's eyes widened. Did she hear that right? Was Jungkook proposing? Park Yin, will you marry me? Yin smiled brightly, immediately leaning forward and wrapping her arms tightly around him. Of course, will. Jungkook returned Yin's hug tightly, as if he never wanted to let her go again. His heart was warm, full of hope and love that he had kept hidden in silence all this time. Now, everything felt real. In the quietness, they stared into each other's eyes. Slowly, Jungkook raised his hand and gently touched Yin's cheek. You're mine now, he whispered, his voice deep and starting to grow husky. Yin smiled, her eyes sparkling. And you're mine, she whispered back softly. Without hesitation, Jungkook leaned in, and when their lips finally met in a warm kiss, everything felt perfect. The kiss started soft, slow, like they were savoring the sweetness of the love confession they had just shared. But it didn't take long before the emotions that had been building up took over. Jungkook deepened the kiss, his hand now gently caressing the nape of her neck, pulling her closer. Their lips pressed together more firmly. Their breath started to grow ragged in the tight space of the car. When Yin began to respond cautiously, Jungkook grew bolder. With a smooth movement, his tongue slipped in, exploring and dancing with Yin's in a rhythm that made their hearts race. Yin was surprised for a moment, but soon melted into the sensation. The kiss made her feel like she was floating. Her hands moved to his chest, softly clutching the fabric of his shirt, as if to make sure this was all real, that Jungkook was truly there with her. When they finally broke the kiss slowly, both of them were breathing heavily, and then they smiled as they realized what had just happened. Jungkook touched Yin's lips, now slightly swollen from their kiss, then gave a small smile. You're really driving me crazy, he whispered in a low voice. Yin smiled back, her chest still rising and falling quickly. And you're making it hard for me to breathe. Then the two of them laughed softly together. A little girl was running around the backyard of a mansion. Yuri, the little baby, who was now almost 3 years old, was chasing butterflies. Her tiny steps moved quickly, making her mother, who was watching from a distance, occasionally shout in concern. Yuri, don't run, you might fall. It wasn't the first time Yin had yelled that sentence, and of course, the little girl didn't pay any attention and continued running happily. Yuri was very active. She had grown into a beautiful and adorable little girl. Her twin ponytails bounced as she ran. Not even a minute had passed since Yin warned her when Yuri fell. Yuri, Yin screamed, ready to run after her. But the little girl immediately got up and grinned at her mother. Unbothered by the fall, Yuri continued running, leaving Yin to sigh in exhaustion. Yin glared at her husband, who just chuckled from a distance. Jungkook was sitting casually in the gazebo, not helping her at all. Why are you laughing? Your daughter just fell, she grumbled, annoyed. Yuri's a strong girl, see? She didn't even cry. Jungkook laughed again. Yin pouted, clearly upset at how calm her husband was while she was panicking. Jungkook smiled softly. He knew how much Yin loved Yuri. She never wanted to see her hurt, not even a scratch. Baby, Yuri is fine, Jungkook said. You don't have to worry. Our daughter is strong. She's not a fragile little girl. Yin sighed. It was true. Sometimes she could be overprotective. I just don't want anything to happen to her. I know, Jungkook replied as he started walking toward her. Suddenly, he planted a kiss on her cheek, causing her to widen her eyes. Jungkook, we're outside. And Yuri's here too, Yin whispered in a panic, her face red. Jungkook laughed. His wife was just too cute. It's just a kiss on the cheek. Even if Yuri sees it, she'll just think it's daddy showing love to mommy. I kiss her cheeks all the time too. Yin rolled her eyes. Jungkook always had an annoying excuse ready. It's different if I kiss your lips like I did last night, he added with a smirk. Yin's face turned bright red. She was so embarrassed. Jungkook could be so bold. The memory of last night made her feel hot all over again. She fanned her face while Jungkook chuckled beside her. Is it ready, baby? What is? Yin asked, confused. Jungkook glanced at her belly, then looked into her eyes. The seed I planted, he whispered teasingly. Is it ready yet? Jungkook, Yin whined in embarrassment. Stop teasing me. I'm not teasing, I'm just asking. Who knows, maybe it's already growing, he replied with a fake innocent face. Yin was flustered and annoyed. She wanted to throw something at Jungkook's smug face, but unfortunately, the man she loved was just too handsome to hit. I haven't checked yet, she snapped. Jungkook burst into laughter and moved even closer to her. Then let's try again tonight, just to be sure, he whispered sensually. Yin's jaw dropped. They had just made love the night before, all the way till morning. Jungkook hadn't even let her rest, and now he wanted more? Unbelievable. Jungkook, weren't you satisfied after devouring me all night? Jungkook grinned widely. Nope, I'll never get enough of making love to my wife. Yin huffed and ignored him. Her eyes went back to Yuri, but the blush on her cheeks gave her away. She was embarrassed. Jungkook noticed and laughed. Yuri probably wants a sibling. Poor girl, playing all alone. Oh god, Yin groaned internally. Okay, tonight, she muttered in a low, annoyed voice, trying to hide her embarrassment. She couldn't say no, she also enjoyed and liked their nights together. Jungkook cheered inwardly, his smile widened in satisfaction. He couldn't wait for the night to come. Mommy, Daddy. Yuri came running toward them. Jungkook quickly squatted down and caught her in his arms, lifting her up. All done playing? Yes, Dad, it was so much fun, she said excitedly. Alright, let's go inside now. You need to take a bath before it gets dark, Yin said gently, stroking Yuri's head. Yuri nodded and rested her head on her father's shoulder. Yin followed beside Jungkook as he walked slowly back toward the house. Mom, can I have ice cream? Yuri asked. Feeling hot, she imagined the ice cream collection in the freezer, but she always needed Yin's permission before having any. Sure, before your bath, we'll have some ice cream. Yay, I love you, Mommy, she said as she kissed Yin's cheek. Yin giggled, her heart swelling. Daddy wants love too. Don't just love Mommy, Jungkook pouted. Yuri laughed and happily kissed Jungkook's cheek too. I love Daddy too. Yin and Jungkook both laughed. They felt truly happy just seeing Yuri smile. Yin smiled softly. She suddenly thought of Yuna. If Yuna were still alive, she would be so proud of how beautiful and bright her daughter had become. Jungkook, who understood what Yin was feeling, gave her a gentle smile. He reached out and stroked her arm. They hadn't told Yuri the full truth yet. One day, when she was old enough, they would take her to visit Yuna's grave. For now, what mattered most was that Yin and Jungkook gave Yuri all the love she deserved.